Okay, so I have a hypothetical for you, and I don't want like a quick answer. I really want you to sit with this for a second.
All right, I'm listening.
Imagine you woke up this morning, you rolled over, checked your phone, and there's a notification from your bank.
Uh-oh.
No, a good one. Someone, doesn't matter who, just dropped $9 million into your account.
9 million. That's a very specific number to start the day with.
It is, but really picture it. How does the rest of your day go? I mean, how does your posture change when you get up to make coffee?
Right.
Or let's switch it up. Say you run a business. What if next week 1,000 new clients just appeared?
Wow.
And this is the one that really gets me, what if Mensa called you up and said, "Congratulations, you are objectively the smartest person on the planet"?
I think for most people, the first reaction is just relief. Then probably excitement.
Yeah.
And then, let's be honest, probably a little bit of superiority. You'd feel like you finally made it.
Exactly. We treat these things like they're just fantasies, like winning the lottery. But I've been going through this material by Bob Proctor on what he calls the law of infinite supply, and he takes a completely different view.
A very different view.
He argues these scenarios aren't fantasies at all. In fact, he actually says there's a lot more than 9 million just waiting, and tens of thousands of people waiting to be served.
It's a really bold claim, and it usually triggers one of two things in people. They either get super excited or they just roll their eyes. Call it wishful thinking.
I'll admit, I was leaning toward the eye roll at first. It just sounds too good to be true. But that's why we're doing this deep dive. We're going to unpack this idea of a law of supply.
Right.
We're going to really look at this argument that resources aren't scarce things we have to fight over, but that they're, I guess, evenly present everywhere.
And this is where you kind of have to suspend your disbelief for a bit and just follow the logic he's presenting. He's trying to build a bridge between, metaphysics and actual practical results.
But there's a catch. And this is the part that really, really tripped me up. To access this infinite supply, Proctor says you need a trigger. And that trigger is an emotion that I, and probably you, have spent our entire adult lives trying to get rid of.
Dissatisfaction.
Dissatisfaction.
Yeah.
I mean, we're told to be grateful, be mindful, and here's this guy saying, no, if you want to create something new, you need to be dissatisfied.
Right.
So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about obedient soldiers of energy, why being smart might actually be a trap, and why you should maybe be a little worried if you feel perfectly satisfied with your life.
It's a pretty dense philosophy, so we should probably start at the foundation. I mean, we can't really talk about supply unless we're on the same page about what that word even means here.
Right, because when I hear supply, I think of, a warehouse. Stacks of stuff, physical things.
And that's the limited view.
Yeah.
That's the sensory view. Proctor is zooming way, way out. He defines supply as energy. His exact words are that all the energy and knowledge that ever was or ever will be is 100% evenly present in all places at the same time.
Okay, hold on. Evenly present in all places. That's hard to wrap your head around. So you're saying the energy to, compose a symphony is just floating around in this room with us right now.
According to this theory, yes. The best analogy is radio waves.
Okay.
Just because you don't have a radio on doesn't mean the music isn't here.
Yeah.
The waves for jazz, rock, news, they're all filling the space you're in right now. They're evenly present. You just haven't tuned into them.
So nobody gets energy.
Nobody gets it. And nobody creates it. You don't go to the store and buy a box of creativity. You release it. It's already there. You just become the conduit for it.
This connects back to that Mensa hypothetical. Proctor makes a point here that I think is really important for anyone who feels like they're, smart but stuck.
The difference between being smart and being effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know people like that. Walking encyclopedias. They can win at trivia, they have the degrees, but they're broke or unhappy or just stagnant.
I feel a little attacked, but yes, I know the type.
Well, Proctor argues that being smart is just having the potential. It's like having a really good radio receiver. But being effective is actually tuning it to a station and playing the music.
So my IQ matters less than my ability to, tap into this cosmic library?
Basically, it's about your ability to release what's already there into action.
So if the energy is everywhere, if the music is playing in every single room, why isn't everyone wealthy and brilliant and healthy? What's the dial?
The dial is desire, but not just a casual, kind of like a sandwich desire.
A real burning desire.
A sustaining, burning desire. And that brings us right back to that controversial idea you mentioned, the power of dissatisfaction.
Yeah, let's really dig into this because honestly, it just sounds like a recipe for being miserable.
Yes.
If I'm never satisfied, aren't I just going to be ungrateful and grumpy all the time?
And that is the common trap. We confuse satisfaction with happiness.
Okay.
Proctor, and he's quoting someone named General Halliwell here, makes a crucial distinction. You can be very happy, but also be dissatisfied.
Give me an example of what that actually looks like.
Okay. Imagine a CEO. She looks at her year-end report, and she's incredibly happy. Profits are up. Her team is amazing. She loves what she does. She is happy.
Okay, I'm with you.
But if she is truly satisfied, what happens next year?
Nothing. She just does the same thing over again.
Exactly. Or she stops trying. Satisfaction implies a conclusion. It's like saying, I'm done. Dissatisfaction is the engine that says, this is great, but what if we could do it better? What if we could reach more people?
So dissatisfaction isn't, I hate my life. It's more like, I see more potential here than what's currently happening.
Precisely. Proctor calls it a creative state. He says animals are satisfied, a cow in a field with grass and water. It's satisfied. It will just stand there and chew. It has no urge to, build a skyscraper or write a novel.
Humans are the ones who are never satisfied.
We are unique in that way. The lecture gives some huge example to back this up. It basically frames every major leap in human history as a product of dissatisfaction.
Right, like Thomas Edison.
Exactly. We romanticize him, but think about the reality. He didn't invent the light bulb because he just loved candles so much.
No, he was probably squinting in the dark, smelling the kerosene and thinking, this is terrible. There has to be a better way.
That's the creative dissatisfaction right there. Or look at the Wright brothers. They were bicycle mechanics.
Right.
They weren't birds. But they looked at the limitation of being stuck to the ground, and they were dissatisfied with it. They hated gravity's hold on them.
And everyone around them thought they were nuts.
Of course, because everyone else was satisfied with walking.
Yeah.
The Wright brothers' dissatisfaction led them to open up a brand new kingdom for all of us.
Or Edmund Hillary staring up at Mount Everest.
If he was satisfied with sea level, he never would have climbed.
It really flips the script on that feeling of restlessness.
Hmm.
I think a lot of us feel guilty when we want more. Like, oh, I have a good job. I should just be content.
And Proctor's saying no. That restlessness is the universe trying to create something through you. He even says, if you aren't dissatisfied, I'm going to say a quiet prayer for you.
Wow.
Because without that friction, you're stagnant. You're the cow in the pasture.
So, okay, we have this infinite energy, this engine of dissatisfaction. But then the lecture takes a bit of a turn. He starts talking about God and laws and rocket scientists.
It feels like a jump, but it's not as big of one as it seems. Think about it. Dissatisfaction drives you to ask why. It drives you to understand how things work.
Okay.
And when you get to the highest level of how things work,
Yeah.
you end up in physics and then eventually metaphysics, which is why he brings up Dr. Wernher von Braun.
The father of the space program.
The rocket guy. I mean, you don't get more scientific than von Braun. He dealt in hard math, thrust, trajectories, but he famously said that after studying the spectacular mysteries of the cosmos, he was led to a firm belief in God.
Because he saw order in it all.
Exactly. He realized the universe isn't just chaos. It follows rules. And Proctor latches onto this. He defines a law, not like a legal rule, but as a uniform and orderly method.
Meaning it works the same way every time.
Every time, for every person, everywhere. Gravity doesn't care if you're a good person or a bad person. You jump off a roof, you fall. Proctor's just arguing that this law of supply is as consistent as gravity. We just don't understand its mechanics as well.
So let's get into those mechanics, because this is where the lecture shifts from philosophy to something more like, I don't know, visual training.
Yes, the analogies.
He uses 3 of them to explain how this law actually works. And I want to spend some real time on these, because for me, this is where it all started to click.
The visual part is absolutely vital. These are designed to break your old mental models about how the world works.
So the first one is the cup in the cloud.
This is all about creation from nothing.
Okay, so picture this. You're standing outside. It's a hot, beautiful day, blue sky, not a single cloud, and you're holding an empty cup. You probably look a little ridiculous.
You do. And all your senses, your eyes, your skin are telling you there is no water. It is dry. But you know, intellectually, that the atmosphere is holding millions of gallons of water as vapor. The no thing.
So you stand there and you wait. And this is the part people hate, right? The waiting.
Because it's not instant. But if the conditions align, the temperature drops, pressure changes. What happens? That no thing starts to condense. Clouds form, they get heavy. And then, It rains. Your cup fills up.
You've created water in your cup from what looked like nothing.
But here's the deeper point he makes. If you just leave that cup of water sitting in the sun, what happens?
It evaporates. It turns back into vapor.
It turns to where it came from. As above, so below. As below, so above.
Nothing is ever created or destroyed.
It just changes form. Money, health, ideas, they're all just energy condensing into a form and then evaporating back into potential. If your cup is empty right now, it doesn't mean the supply is gone. It just means it's in the vapor state.
You just have to create the conditions for it to rain again.
Which is the big question.
Yep.
How do we create those conditions? And that's where the second analogy comes in, and this one is my favorite, the acorn.
This is the best explanation of vibration I have ever heard.
It really is.
So you're holding an acorn. To your eyes, it's just a hard little brown nut. It's solid, it's quiet.
But if you put it under a powerful enough microscope, what do you see? It's not solid at all. It's a universe of particles just dancing. It's energy moving at an incredibly high speed of vibration.
It's humming.
It is humming, a very specific tune. We can call it the oak tree frequency. Now, if you take that humming, vibrating acorn and you put it in your pocket, what happens?
Nothing. It just rots eventually.
Right. A pocket is a dead environment. But if you put that same acorn in the earth, that's when the magic starts. The earth is full of energy particles, minerals, moisture.
And this is the image that's so powerful. Proctor describes the particles in the soil as obedient soldiers.
Yes. Imagine the soil is just this chaotic mix of energy. But the moment that acorn starts vibrating its oak tree frequency, it's like a command goes out.
Okay.
There are millions of particles in the ground. Some are, pine tree particles, some are dandelion particles. The acorn ignores those.
Yeah.
But the particles that are in harmony with the acorn, they snap to attention.
I'm literally picturing them turning and marching.
That's the image. They march toward the acorn. They're drawn to it by a law of attraction. They rush to it. They fuse with it. The acorn doesn't run around casing nutrients. It stands still. It vibrates its truth. And the obedient soldiers of the universe march right to it.
That is, wow. It's intense, but it can only attract what it is. It can't attract a rose bush.
Impossible. It's not on that frequency.
Ooh. So before we get to how we apply this, there's one last analogy. The water drops.
And this one is all about unity. Imagine 2 drops of water on a glass table. They're separate, distinct. But if you just nudge them together.
They snap together instantly. They become one bigger drop.
And if you add a third, one even bigger drop. Now, here's the question. Can you take a tiny knife and separate them back into the original 3 specific drops?
No way. They're gone. I mean, they're integrated.
They've achieved unity. Proctor quotes the Bible here, what God has joined together. He's applying that to energy. When those obedient soldiers join the acorn to make the tree, they are one. You can't separate the soil from the tree anymore. The supply becomes the result.
Okay, so let's put it all together. We have the cup, which is patience and potential, the acorn, which is attraction through vibration, and the water drops, which is unity. How do we as regular people trying to pay our bills actually use this? We're not acorns.
But we are. That's the whole point. But instead of a genetic code, our frequency is determined by the images we hold in our minds.
This is what he calls the godlike ability.
Yes. You have the ability to build a detailed image in your head. You can imagine that bank account with $9 million. You can imagine a perfectly healthy body. When you hold that image, and this is the key, you get emotionally involved with it, you alter your own personal vibration.
You start humming a different tune.
You got it. You switch from the I'm broke frequency to the wealth frequency. And just like the acorn, once that vibration is established, you start attracting the obedient soldiers in your world.
So, an idea for a product, maybe?
Or a new business partner who just calls you out of the blue.
Right.
Or a refund check you forgot about.
Yeah.
The resources start marching towards you.
And this feels like a giant warning label. This has to work both ways, doesn't it?
It is a double-edged sword. The law is totally neutral. It doesn't care if you succeed or fail. It just obeys whatever vibration you're putting out.
So if I'm sitting here stressing out, worrying about debt.
Think about the image you are holding. You are visualizing debt. You are visualizing lack. You are feeling the emotion of anxiety.
I'm vibrating on the debt frequency.
And the universe just says, message received. And the obedient soldiers of debt, the unexpected bills, the car repairs, the lost clients, they start marching toward you. You are literally placing an order for the very thing you don't want.
That is terrifying. Because when things are going wrong, it is so hard not to focus on them.
It's incredibly difficult. Proctor acknowledges that. He says we're all trained to live by our sensory factors. We look at our bank account, we see a low number, and we say, well, I am broke.
And that reinforces the image, which reinforces the vibration, which brings more brokenness. It's a loop.
A downward spiral. To break it, you have to do something that feels totally irrational. You have to ignore the sensory evidence. You have to ignore the empty cup. You have to hold the image of the full cup, even when the sun is beating down and the ground is bone dry.
He calls this the God's eye view, right?
Yes, the sensory view sees lack. The God's eye view sees the atmosphere full of moisture. It sees the infinite supply that just hasn't manifested yet. It knows the water is there. It just hasn't rained yet.
That completely flips the phrase, "I'll believe it when I see it."
It proves it's backward. In this philosophy, you will only see it when you first believe it, when you vibrate in harmony with it.
This is so much to digest. So if we boil this down for someone listening who wants to, test this, what are the big takeaways?
I'd say there are three big mental shifts to make. First, you have to just declare war on the idea of scarcity. You have to accept that supply is infinite. If you don't have it, it is not because the universe ran
It's
out.
because you haven't condensed it yet.
Exactly. Second is that reframing of dissatisfaction.
That's a huge one.
Huge. Stop feeling guilty for wanting more. Stop suppressing that little nagging feeling that you could be doing better. That feeling is your acorn trying to grow. It's your creative engine. You have to let it run.
And third,
Watch your order. You are placing an order with the universe every single minute of every day with your dominant thoughts and feelings. If you're complaining, you are ordering more things to complain about. Be the acorn you want to become.
the source ends with that quote from Solomon. In all you're getting, get understanding.
I love that. It's such a good reminder that this isn't about magic tricks. It's a system. Don't just wish for things. Study the law. Understand why it works. Because when you understand it, you stop being afraid of the empty cup. You know the rain is coming.
I think that's the perfect place to wrap up our analysis. But before we go, I do want to leave you, the listener, with one last kind of provocative thought to chew on.
Let's hear it.
We talked about the cup and the cloud. We established that nothing can be made from something any more than something can be made from nothing. That the water comes from that invisible no thing of the atmosphere. So my question to you is this. What no thing are you currently ignoring? What invisible potential is hovering right around you right now in this very room, just waiting for you to stand there with your cup and your dissatisfaction, long enough for it to finally rain?
That's a powerful question.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.